The world held its breath. A chill ran down the spines of nations. It was the Cold War, a time of tension and distrust. The United States and the Soviet Union, two superpowers, faced off. Their ideologies clashed: capitalism versus communism, freedom versus control. The stakes were high. Nuclear weapons with their terrifying power cast a long shadow. The world watched, caught in a stalemate. Every move, every word was analyzed. The threat of nuclear war loomed large. It was a game of chess on a global scale with unimaginable consequences. In this atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, propaganda thrived. Both sides sought to influence public opinion, to demonize the enemy, and to justify their actions. The Cold War wasn't just about military might. It was a battle for hearts and minds. The world trembled. Mushroom clouds, those ominous symbols of destruction, painted the sky. Nuclear tests, each one a terrifying display of power, became a hallmark of the Cold War. They were stark reminders of the destructive potential that lay at the fingertips of humanity. These tests weren't just scientific endeavors. They were carefully orchestrated events, designed to send a message. The images, the shockwaves, the sheer scale of the explosions, they were meant to inspire awe and fear in equal measure. The message was clear: we possess the power to destroy. The footage of these tests, often grainy and surreal, became etched in the public consciousness. Whispers turned into murmurs. Doubts began to surface. Could these terrifying images, these spectacles of destruction, be nothing more than elaborate fakes? Conspiracy theories began to circulate, questioning the authenticity of the nuclear test footage. Some argued that the cameras used at the time couldn't possibly have withstood the intense heat and radiation of a nuclear blast. Others pointed to inconsistencies in the footage itself, suggesting signs of tampering or staging. The seeds of doubt had been sown. These doubts tapped into a deeper unease, a suspicion that governments were not being entirely truthful. The ashes of World War II were still warm, yet a new conflict was brewing, one with far greater stakes. The United States and the Soviet Union, former allies against Nazi Germany, found themselves on opposite sides of a chasm. Ideological differences fueled by mistrust and ambition ignited the Cold War. At the heart of this conflict lay a terrifying new weapon: the atomic bomb. Its destructive power, unleashed upon Hiroshima and Nagasaki, cast a long shadow over the world. The United States, initially the sole possessor of this devastating technology, held a chilling advantage. The Soviet Union, determined not to be outdone, embarked on its own quest for nuclear weapons. The race was on, a deadly game of one-upmanship that would push both sides to the brink. Section 2. Nuclear Tests. From experimentation to demonstration. The early nuclear tests were shrouded in secrecy. Conducted in remote locations, far from prying eyes, they were scientific endeavors. Their purpose to understand the terrifying power they had unleashed. Data was collected, analyzed, and used to refine the design of these devastating weapons. As the Cold War intensified, these tests took on a new significance. They were no longer just about scientific exploration. They became demonstrations of power, stark warnings to the other side. The explosions grew larger, more frequent, each one a symbolic mushroom cloud in the face of the enemy. The nuclear arms race had entered a new, even more dangerous phase. Section 3. The Spectre of Mutually Assured Destruction. The world stood at the precipice. The arsenals of the United States and the Soviet Union swelled with thousands of nuclear weapons. Each side possessed enough firepower to obliterate the other many times over. A chilling new term entered the global lexicon: mutually assured destruction, or MAD. The logic was perversely simple, yet terrifyingly effective. Any nuclear attack would be met with an immediate and overwhelming retaliation. The result would be unthinkable, an apocalyptic scenario that would engulf the entire world in nuclear fire. The fate of humanity rested on a delicate balance of terror, a game of chicken with unimaginable stakes. Section 4. The propaganda machine, selling fear and security. In the shadow of the mushroom cloud, a different kind of battle raged. It was a war of information, of perception, of shaping the narrative. Both the United States and the Soviet Union understood the power of propaganda. They used it to bolster their own citizens, demonize the enemy, and justify their actions on the world stage. The nuclear tests, those terrifying displays of power, became central to this propaganda war. The footage, carefully edited and disseminated, was used to convey a specific message: strength, resolve, and the willingness to use any means necessary to protect their way of life. Fear became a powerful tool. Questioning the frames, could cameras survive? The heart of the conspiracy lies in a seemingly simple question. Could cameras of that era withstand the atomic inferno? Skeptics scoff at the very notion. Surely, they argue, the intense heat, the blinding light, the sheer force of a nuclear blast would vaporize any recording equipment in an instant. They point to the limitations of 1940s and 1950s technology. Cameras were bulky, delicate, reliant on fragile film stock. How could these contraptions possibly survive an event that could level cities and turn sand to glass? The very idea, they claim, defies logic and common sense. Proponents of the faked footage theory often lack technical expertise. They fail to grasp the lengths to which governments would go to control the narrative. Shadows and anomalies, dissecting the footage. Scrutinizing the grainy footage, conspiracy theorists claim to have uncovered irrefutable evidence of tampering. They point to inconsistencies in the shadows, alleging that objects appear to be illuminated from multiple angles, suggesting artificial light sources rather than the singular brilliance of a nuclear blast. Others highlight anomalies in the blast wave itself. They argue that the speed and shape of the shock wave don't align with scientific models, hinting at the possibility of miniature explosions or special effects used to mimic the real thing. Attributing these flaws to malicious intent requires a significant leap of faith. The psychology of deception, planting seeds of doubt. Beyond the technical arguments, the faked footage theory taps into a deeper psychological current. It plays on our inherent distrust of authority, our susceptibility to conspiracy theories, and our desire for simple explanations in a complex world. The Cold War was a time of paranoia and misinformation. Governments routinely lied to their citizens, manipulating facts to serve their agendas. In this context, it's not surprising that some people would question the veracity of official narratives, even those backed by scientific evidence. Conspiracy theories offer a sense of order in a chaotic world, a way to make sense of the seemingly senseless. Section 4, Cui Bono? Who benefits from the illusion? Proponents of the faked footage theory often ask a crucial question: who benefits from this alleged deception? Their answer: the governments themselves. By exaggerating the power of their nuclear arsenals, they could intimidate their adversaries and control the narrative on the world stage. Faked footage, they argue, would allow both superpowers to project an image of strength and resolve without having to resort to actual nuclear war. It was a high-stakes game of bluff, a way to maintain the balance of terror without unleashing its full destructive potential. Whether or not the footage was manipulated, the question of who benefits highlights the inherent ambiguity of the Cold War. In such an environment, truth was often a casualty. Section 1. The Dawn of High-Speed Photography. Freezing time in the face of Armageddon. Cold War scientists and engineers were in a relentless pursuit of innovation. The race for nuclear supremacy required capturing and understanding the forces unleashed. High-speed photography allowed researchers to dissect the fleeting moments of a nuclear explosion. Harold Edgerton's pioneering work pushed the boundaries of high-speed photography. His iconic milk drop coronet image revealed the hidden beauty of fleeting events. Section 2. Blast-proof bunkers and shielded lenses, protecting the eyes of science. Capturing a nuclear explosion on film wasn't simply about speed, it was also about survival. The cameras deployed at test sites had to withstand forces that could pulverize concrete and temperatures that could melt steel. To protect these delicate instruments, engineers devised ingenious solutions, encasing them in blast-proof bunkers and outfitting them with specialized shielding. These bunkers, often constructed of reinforced concrete and buried deep underground, were designed to withstand the shockwave and thermal pulse of a nuclear detonation. Thick steel doors, often weighing several tons, sealed the bunkers, protecting the cameras and their operators from the initial blast. Thick lead glass, known for its ability to absorb radiation, shielded the lenses from the intense light and heat. Section 3. Miles away, yet crystal clear, the power of telephoto lenses and timing. Distance became a critical factor in capturing usable footage of nuclear tests. Cameras, even those housed in protective bunkers, couldn't be placed too close to ground zero. This is where the power of telephoto lenses came into play, allowing photographers to capture detailed images from miles away, safeguarding both equipment and personnel. These telephoto lenses, with their long focal lengths, could magnify distant objects, compressing perspective and bringing the action closer. However, using such lenses over long distances presented its own set of challenges. Atmospheric distortion caused by heat and dust could blur the image, obscuring crucial details. The timing of the shutter release was crucial, requiring split-second accuracy to coincide with the peak of the explosion, when the light was most intense and the details most visible. Section 4. Radiation-hardened film, capturing the unthinkable without fading away. The extreme conditions of a nuclear test presented unique challenges for film stock. Conventional film, susceptible to heat and radiation, would fog, melt, or simply disintegrate when exposed to the intense energy of a nuclear blast. To overcome this obstacle, scientists and engineers developed specialized radiation-hardened film, capable of withstanding the unimaginable. This hardened film, a testament to the ingenuity of Cold War-era material science, incorporated special emulsions and chemical treatments to resist the damaging effects of radiation. The film base, typically made of cellulose acetate, was replaced with more robust materials like polyethylene terephthalate, known for its stability and resistance to heat. These advancements in film technology were crucial in ensuring that the footage captured during nuclear tests was not only usable but also preserved for posterity. Section 5. Beyond the camera. A symphony of scientific instruments. While high-speed cameras played a crucial role in documenting nuclear tests, they were just one instrument in a symphony of scientific equipment deployed at these sites. Arrays of sensors, detectors, and measuring devices, each designed to capture a specific aspect of the explosion, worked in concert to provide a comprehensive picture of these complex events. Seismographs, strategically positioned around the test site, measured the seismic waves generated by the blast, providing valuable data about the energy released and the geological impact of the explosion. Radiation detectors, both on the ground and aloft in specially equipped aircraft, monitored the fallout pattern, tracking the spread of radioactive particles. These instruments, working in tandem with the high-speed cameras, provided a wealth of information that went far beyond the visual spectacle of the explosion. Few images from the 20th century are as instantly recognizable as the mushroom cloud. It's a symbol both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a visual shorthand for the immense power unleashed by humanity in the atomic age. The very shape, that towering column of smoke and debris ascending into the heavens, evokes a sense of the sublime, a mixture of fear and fascination that defies easy categorization. The mushroom cloud wasn't just a byproduct of the explosion. It became a powerful tool of propaganda. For those who sought to deter their enemies, it was a symbol of unmatched might, a visual representation of the devastation they could unleash. The message was clear: challenge us at your peril. Yet the mushroom cloud also tapped into deeper anxieties, into primal fears of forces beyond our control. It became a symbol of the fragility of human existence, a reminder that our technological prowess could just as easily lead to our annihilation as to our advancement. The Cold War was more than just a military standoff. It was a battle for hearts and minds, a struggle to shape the narrative on a global scale. Both sides understood the power of propaganda, of using information, misinformation, and carefully crafted images to influence public opinion. The footage of nuclear tests, those terrifying displays of power, became central to this propaganda war. For the United States, the tests were portrayed as a necessary evil, a demonstration of strength and resolve in the face of communist aggression. The footage, often accompanied by patriotic music and stirring narration, emphasized the scientific achievements and the dedication of those working to protect the free world. The Soviet Union, for its part, used the footage to project an image of its own growing might, to show the world that it was no longer technologically inferior to the West. The tests were presented as a triumph of socialist science, a victory for the working class against the forces of imperialism. The Cold War coincided with a period of rapid advancement in media technology. Cinema, once a novelty, had become a powerful mass medium, capable of reaching millions with its immersive imagery and sound. Television, still in its infancy, was poised to become an even more ubiquitous presence in homes around the world. Both of these mediums played a crucial role in shaping how people understood and experienced the nuclear age. Newsreels, often shown before feature films, brought the latest images of nuclear tests into movie theaters across the globe. The grainy black and white footage, accompanied by the dramatic narration of news announcers, made the distant threat of nuclear war feel immediate and visceral. As television became more widespread, it brought the imagery of the Cold War directly into people's homes. News reports, documentaries, and even fictional dramas explored the themes of nuclear war, fallout shelters, and the constant tension between the superpowers. The nuclear age had become a cultural phenomenon, its anxieties and uncertainties reflected in the entertainment we consumed. Section 4. Beyond the bombs, propaganda's long shadow on other Cold War conflicts. While nuclear weapons cast a long shadow over the Cold War, the conflict extended far beyond the threat of nuclear annihilation. From Korea and Vietnam to proxy wars in Africa and Latin America, the US and USSR were locked in a global struggle for influence. Propaganda played a crucial role in shaping these conflicts. Both sides used media to portray themselves as defenders of freedom. Section 5. Echoes of the Cold War, How We Still See the World Through Its Lens. The Cold War's legacy continues to shape our view of the world. Narratives and images from that era still influence our understanding of international relations and nuclear threats. The proliferation of nuclear weapons has made the world more dangerous. The Cold War taught us the power of propaganda and the importance of media literacy. Section 1. From Broadcast to Broadband, the Digital Evolution of Propaganda. The Cold War, for all its ideological fervor, played out against a backdrop of limited media options. Television networks were few, newspapers held sway, and information, true or fabricated, trickled out at a slower pace. Control of the narrative was paramount, and those who wielded it held immense power. Fast forward to today, and the media landscape has undergone a seismic shift. The internet, once a niche technology, has become the primary source of information for billions. Social media platforms, with their algorithms and instant global reach, have democratized information dissemination for better or for worse. This digital revolution has fundamentally changed the nature of propaganda. No longer confined to clunky broadcasts or carefully curated print media, it now flows through the veins of the internet, adapting and evolving at lightning speed. The sheer volume of information, much of it dubious or outright false, has created a new kind of battleground, one where discerning truth from fiction becomes a constant struggle. The weaponization of information, social media, bots, and the new battlefield. Social media has become a breeding ground for a new breed of propaganda. Tools designed to foster community have been transformed into weapons of mass persuasion. Targeted advertising and bots create a digital landscape where truth is often drowned out. State-sponsored actors spread disinformation, sowing discord. Automated bots amplify these messages, creating an illusion of grassroots support. Manufacturing Consent 2.0, Tailored Narratives and the Echo Chamber Effect. The digital age has ushered in an era of hyper-personalization. Our online experiences, from the news we consume to the products we buy, are increasingly shaped by algorithms designed to cater to our individual preferences. While this might seem benign, even convenient, it creates fertile ground for a more insidious form of manipulation, the echo chamber effect. By filtering the information we encounter, social media platforms and search engines create echo chambers where our existing biases are reinforced and dissenting voices are silenced. We are less likely to encounter viewpoints that challenge our preconceptions, making us more susceptible to propaganda, even if we believe ourselves to be discerning consumers of information. This tailored approach to information dissemination makes it easier for propagandists to exploit our existing beliefs. By crafting messages that resonate with our pre-existing biases, they can bypass our critical faculties, sowing seeds of doubt, fear, and anger that can have real-world consequences. Section 4. Beyond the Headlines: Critical Thinking as a Defense Against Deception. In a world awash in information, the ability to think critically, to question what we read and see, has never been more crucial. The digital age, for all its pitfalls, also offers tools for empowerment. By arming ourselves with the skills to navigate this complex landscape, we can become more discerning consumers of information and less susceptible to manipulation. Fact-checking websites, reverse image searches, and media literacy initiatives can help us separate truth from fiction, to identify bias and propaganda in its various forms. By cultivating a healthy skepticism and seeking out diverse perspectives, we can break free from the echo chambers that threaten to divide us. The fight against propaganda in the digital age is not a battle against technology itself, but against its misuse. It is a battle for our minds, for our ability to think critically, and to engage with the world in a meaningful and informed way. The stakes are high, but the tools for empowerment are within our grasp. The enduring power of images. The mushroom cloud, etched in our collective memory, serves as a chilling reminder of destructive power. These images hold a strange power over us, tapping into primal fears. They remind us of the manipulative power of visual media, transcending technology or context. Images shape our understanding, influence emotions, and motivate action. Section 2. The legacy of deception, trust, truth, and the price of vigilance. The Cold War, marked by suspicion and paranoia, left an indelible mark on our psyche. It eroded trust in institutions and normalized propaganda. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked the end of that era, but deception lingers. The digital revolution created new avenues for manipulation. Information spreads quickly, making truth hard to discern. We must become discerning consumers of media. Arming ourselves in the age of information warfare, we stand at a crossroads, bombarded by information designed to manipulate and mislead. Social media and online news have become battlegrounds in information warfare. The stakes are high, but we are not powerless. We must arm ourselves with critical thinking, media literacy, and skepticism. Engage, question, and demand better from our media and leaders. Foster critical inquiry, support independent journalism, and teach media literacy. The battle for our minds continues. Will we be passive consumers or active, informed citizens?